Van Morrison, or Van the Man, is one of the best songwriters of all time. With a career spanning over 50 years, he's pretty much influenced everyone. And one of the most surprising things about him is, despite his serious demeanour, he's written some of the most uplifting songs you'll ever hear. So in this video we're going to look at 11 of his best songs. You know, she comes around. Gloria was one of his early hits back in the mid-60s. The song is a great example of how you only need 3 chords, also known as a 3-chord trick. The way he spells out the name Gloria is sort of reminiscent of how Muddy Waters does Mannish Boy. Hey, child. Lyrically, the song is pretty simple. It's about Van Morrison's obsession with Gloria, who, by all accounts, likes to fool around a bit, but he's cool with that. In fact, one time the Doors and Van Morrison were playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go in West Hollywood, and they, supposedly on the final night, they all got together and sang Gloria. And It's Still Me was the opening song on Van Morrison's classic album Moondance. Me and Billy standing there with a silver half a crown. The song is just brilliant. It just starts off with a really lazy acoustic guitar. You've got some brass coming in and some beautiful acoustic guitar work. The first side of Moondance is just incredible. Bright Side of the Road is a kind of country infused gospel song. It's upbeat, it's lively, it's got banjos. It's just one of the most optimistic songs you'll ever hear. Okay, any list of Van Morrison songs has to include Brown Eyed Girl. It's a sort of victim of its own success. It's just been played to death at countless weddings and parties, and enough, no more. Days Like This is a brilliant bit of Van Morrison songwriting wizardry. A title like Days Like This, you'd expect it to be a song about, hey, there are days like this, but Morrison cleverly twists it, and days like this are actually days that go well. When there's no one complaining, there'll be days like this. So it's basically being thankful for days that are great when people don't complain. It's such a great message. Van Morrison wrote Crazy Love at the end of the 60s after just marrying a woman called Janet Planet. Yes, correct name. The marriage didn't last very long, unfortunately, but the song has endured the years. There was a great moment in the 80s when Bob Dylan and Van Morrison got together and played a version of this song just outside the Acropolis in Athens. Bob Dylan, he's just making up the lyrics as he goes along, and obviously Van Morrison is totally on it. It's his song, of course. In the heaven open every time she smiles. From 1972's album St. Dominic's Preview, sort of weird name, I get it. The song Jackie Wilson Said is just such a great song. I mean, it's got some brilliant bits. The opening and, you know, the band are just so tight. The line, I'm so wired up, don't need no coffee in my cup. It's a great story. The 80s band Dexys Midnight Runners did a version of this song, and that did really well, and they appeared on Top of the Pops to play it. And whether it was a joke or a mistake, the set designers put up a picture of a famous darts player called Jockey Wilson, and the backdrop on the set was Jockey Wilson, even though the song is about a soul singer, Jackie Wilson. So the debate is still raging about whether it was a mistake or not, but it's pretty funny. There's an album in Van Morrison's discography which deserves special mention, and that album is Astral Weeks. Any list of the best sort of rock albums of the last 50-60 years usually includes Astral Weeks. Now, Astral Weeks is not full of radio-friendly songs like Moondance. It's kind of it's really deep. It's sort of like moving personal album, a bit like Dylan's Blood on the Tracks. This album has just like saved lives and reset people's brains when they listen to it. One of the highlights is this song Sweet Thing. And Sweet Thing is just is just a majestic piece of songwriting. So you've got the double bass that just sort of trips and skips its way through the song, building up into like a crescendo, and the strings come in at various places, and just some of the imagery and the lyrics in Sweet Thing, I just think some of the best songwriting ever, and really on a level with some of the other best songwriters such as Leonard Cohen, I think. Okay, Wild Night. So hey, we all need a night out now and again, right? Wild Night is one of those brilliant songs which captures the mood. You've got that funky organ, the jumping bass line, and those horns and the bluesy guitar. I mean, it makes you want to have a night out. The song Moondance from the album Moondance is just a brilliant piece of work. So you've got a walking bass line which just meanders its own pretty way through the song. Of course, if you're a child of the 80s, you'll remember the song appears in the horror movie An American Werewolf in London, which was pretty terrifying to watch as a kid.
Well, what's that scar on the wall for?
Okay, you could make an argument for any of these songs taking the top spot, and I think the top spot should go to Into the Mystic. It's just a genius piece of songwriting. It's a song about going into the unknown, the mystic. Is that death, a higher plane, enlightenment? Who knows? Wherever it is, it's a place he refers to as home. When that foghorn blows, you know I will be coming home. But it's a love song too, because it's about his relationship with this woman. I want to rock your gypsy soul. The song is so calming that supposedly the BBC did a survey for surgeons, like they're not busy enough, and asked them what song do they play most when they're operating. And the number one choice was Into the Mystic, so there you go. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this romp through Van Morrison's songs. Do you agree with my choice, or is it way off the mark?